Hey, how's it going? It's your boy Asian Psycho, aka Toy Sniper 98, but you can just call me Tuhu, and I am the God of Gacha games. In case you couldn't tell by that montage just now, I'm a big fan of gacha games. Quite a few of them in fact, and 11 of them to be precise. Those are in chronological order of when I started playing them: FGO, Girls Frontline 1, Azure Lane, Arknights, Genshin Impact, Blue Archive, Nikke, Star Rail, Ether Gazer, Snowbreak, and most recently, Wuthering Waves. And that's not even all of them either technically. I tried out Magie Record and Touhou Lost Word back in the day, and I plan to pick up Z3 when it comes out. Hell, by the time you see this video, it'll probably already be out, and I've got my eyes on 4 more, in no particular order: Girls Frontline 2, Arknights Enfield, Project Mugen, and Azure Permilia. Quick addendum, I recently found out about Magia Record Exedra, which from the screenshots we have so far, seems to basically be Star Rail, but with Maguka characters and a 5-character team instead of 4. So out of morbid curiosity, I'll try that out once it comes out later this year. Second addendum, I'll also be trying out NTE when that game comes out. Here's to hoping it'll do better than Tower of Fantasy, and hopefully Hotta Studio hasn't stolen even more assets from MiHoYo. Some of y'all might hear this and go, yeah sure, whatever buddy, there are people on Twitter who show off how many gachas they play and they got so many more on their phones or whatever. Oh, don't you worry, I know about those tweets too, and sure, the sheer number of gachas they got looks impressive until you realize that usually more than half their games haven't even been updated in months. Nah, little bro, that ain't shit, cause you know why? Any little dipshit can download a whole bunch of gacha games and tweet a picture of their phone saying that they're addicted to gacha games. Your name can be Lakari, and you can scream all you want about how you're the Lord of Gacha or whatever, whenever you're not pissing yourself in League or Epic 7 PvP. My question is, how many gacha games do you actually play? As in, not even just logging in, I mean keeping up with the content, like doing your dailies, rolling for new characters on a regular basis, unless you're saving for a future character of course, completing events, etc. Cause that's exactly what I've done with almost all my gachas for the past 7 years. Take a closer look for yourselves. Alright, so you get the idea. I'm kinda big on gachas, but why does that matter? Well, remember how I said earlier that any random motherfucker can pretend like they have a gacha addiction, right? Well, ever since Genshin Impact came out and made the gacha genre explode into mainstream popularity, I've seen a lot of new people enter the scene, both normal players and content creators alike. And holy fucking shit, the sheer amount of cluelessness people have when it comes to gacha games is mind-blowing, dude. Granted, a lot of these newcomers have never played gacha games before. Hell, most of them probably didn't even know what a gacha game was before Genshin Impact showed up. So, of course, there was always gonna be some dumb shit, sure. But that doesn't make the fact that, you know, some, more like a lot, of takes and interactions I see out there on Twitter and other social media platforms any less fucking brain dead. And as a gacha CC myself, I see a lot of these so-called gacha content creators, even though the only gacha games that they actually play are Hoyoverse games and Wuwa. Gee, I wonder why that is. And the only other content that's related to gacha that they consume are either from sponsors or trailers that they watch for easy React Andy content. Your name can be Asmongold, and you can shit all over Zenless Zone 0, and yet still think it's a good idea for some reason to spend enough money for E6 Daniel Alter and Honkai Star Rail? Jesus, I guess MiHoYo sponsorship money really does hit different, huh? How about you stick to talking about MMOs and doing your best moist critical impression, talking about whatever the hot topic of the internet is at the moment, Zach? So unfortunately for the gacha game community as a whole, most of the streamers or YouTubers you know or even watch can only really talk about gacha games through the lens of a big name one like Genshin, Star Rail, or now most recently Wuwa. And while those are some of the biggest gacha games out there, sure, they're by no means the only ones. Like, would you believe it when I tell you that gacha games as a whole are so much more than just Hoyoverse and Kuro Game? Even for the content creators who have a history with gacha games of their own even before Genshin Impact was a thing, I'd like to ask, how many of them still play their old gachas now? For example, I knew Tectone back when he still made Arknights content. He doesn't anymore, obviously, but hell, it wasn't that long ago that he played Nikke, and Shift Up even sent him some kind of like swag box or something if I recall correctly, and when was the last time he played Nikke on stream? I know Fobmasters played gachas for even longer than I have technically, but as far as I'm aware, the only ones he actually keeps up with now are, you guessed it, Hoyoverse and Wuwa. I'm aware Mr. Pokey came from gachas like Counterside before he made a name for himself in Star Rail, but again, does he keep up with his older games or has he ditched them completely now that he gets thousands of people watch him play the more popular ones? For the record, my intention isn't to like go after anyone in particular. Again, I'm just using the ones that I mentioned so far as examples. But even if they do keep up with their older gacha games, then let me ask, how many of them do they still play? Is it as autistic as my own gacha count where it's now devolved into like the double digits? Oh, and by the way, their job is to be a content creator, by the way, while I'm currently stuck in a shitty 9 to 5 that takes me out of the house for almost half the day. Because I don't know about them, but FGO is my oldest gacha game, the very first one I started 7 years ago at this point, and I'm still playing that shit. Archetype Earth and Proto Merlin are right around the corner after all, so I can't stop now. Matter of fact, I made a whole ass video detailing my personal history with all the gacha games that I play and where I'm at with those games today. If you want to check that out, link in the description or at the end of the video. So naturally, I got a lot to yap about when it comes to gacha, and not only do I come at them from a different angle than most of the gacha CCs you know, but also I ain't afraid to talk about shit that most others simply won't. Some of the things I've talked about on stream before or in videos on this channel are how to improve Genshin Impact as a game, why Arknights is the best gacha game you can play right now, the differences between old school and new age gacha games, what direction I want gacha games to go in, my thoughts on Wuthering Waves as a Genshin clone, why meta in gacha games is overblown as fuck, and why I think Panakani's story in Star Rail was painfully mid. The Hoyoverse fanboys aren't gonna like that last one, are they? I think that the single biggest thing that you should take away from this video is the fact that I've played so many gacha games for so long that I basically have no choice but to be real with you when it comes to anything gacha. It's to the point where I've never taken a sponsor to play a gacha game before, and I probably never will because gacha games can be bullshit, and I don't want people out here making the same mistakes that I have over the years, besides making the biggest mistake of picking up gacha games to begin with, of course. The vast majority of other gacha game CCs out there either have contracts with gacha game developers in some way, like through sponsored streams or voice acting work, or they simply don't have the same breadth of knowledge and experience as I do, not for now at least. So it's almost like an obligation of sorts to me at this point that I start making videos like these. As we all know, Genshin Impact was what truly made gacha mainstream, but Genshin was such a huge runaway success that it caused the gacha genre to escape their usual audience, and to this day you'll still get a ton of people out there whose only or one of the only gacha games that they play is still Genshin Impact. So my goal is to try to be a bridge of sorts to connect the Hoyoverse and now the Wuwa audience to the rest of the gacha genre. The big gachas are so big that they're pretty much outliers as far as like, you know, gacha games go in terms of how much popularity they have and how much social media attention that they get compared to, you know, most other gacha games, which means that you get some really weird takes and dumb shit that come crawling out of the woodwork. To be fair, you're always gonna get weird shit whenever a community for anything online gets to be big enough, but hey, I've sat back for long enough watching enough people, you know, put out enough brain dead takes on social media, so it's about time I did something about it myself. And as far as I see, ain't nobody else out there who's better qualified to put out some hot gacha takes than me. And I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm just being real. That, and given all the somewhat recent content creator drama that's been going down for about the past half a year, this community needs some actual halfway decent content creators ASAP. You know what? Fuck it. Us gacha CCs seem to love farming drama. I mean, just go look at Techie's YouTube channel for God's sake. And I ain't so above it all myself. Hey, I got Sniper in my name after all, so let me take a few shots too. MTash constantly saying that he's gonna quit a gacha game, especially after he loses a fucking coin flip. Channels with names like Gacha Gamer, and yet 99% of the content is nothing but Hoyoverse and or Wuwa. Streamers playing a whole bunch of different gacha games for a month each, or hell, even just a day, and then thinking they know enough about them to somehow make a whole ass tier list out of them. Fobmaster trying to play FGO, Envy having an inflated ass ego all because he doesn't spend money on a fucking phone game like that's supposed to be some kind of achievement.
I should be the only mother getting praise in the Genshin community because I don't spend money on Genshin Impact.
Tectone attempting to not soyjack in every other thumbnail of his YouTube videos, challenge impossible, and Lakari having the most brain-dead takes about gacha, such as how Wuthering Waves is dead just because Genazad isn't playing it, because roasting Lakari's ass once already clearly wasn't enough. And these are the kinds of people you watch for gacha content? Jesus fucking Christ, no wonder people shit on gacha games so damn much. But I think you get the point, so now it's time for me to terrorize the gacha community from here on out and show all you Hoyotards what the real gacha experience is like. And hopefully, it'll be better than whatever bullshit y'all have had to deal with for the past 4 years. So if you want to come along for the ride, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. I'll have videos coming out shortly talking about a variety of gacha stuff. And hey, maybe y'all can even suggest stuff for me to talk about in future videos down in the comments below. I also dual stream to both YouTube and Twitch, so that way you guys can watch me wherever you want. Tuhu on YouTube and ToeSniper98 on Twitch, so stop by if you guys got anything you want to ask me in regards to gacha, or if you think I'm just a fraud and you want to talk shit, that's fine too. I enjoy roasting dumbasses in my chat whenever they show up, so it works out. Speaking of streaming, I'll be starting a subathon tomorrow from when this video goes live on October 14th, so I hope to see y'all there so that you guys can see what a real gacha god looks like in action. Thanks for watching, look forward to more content, and until next time, be cool y'all. Peace.